Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation's Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Ellen's economics correspondent. Each week, I dive into the more subtopic economic news stories and fish out compelling narratives, or I retrieve fallacies that have been accepted as conventional wisdom by the swamp creatures for years. This week, how the mighty have fallen, the US dollar edition. The International Monetary Fund recently released a new paper suggesting that central banks might need to diminish their holdings of US dollars to survive in this current volatile environment. This sentiment was echoed by the IMF's Deputy Managing Director Geeta Gopinath, who recently said in an interview that we could see, quote, some countries reconsidering how much they hold of certain currencies in their reserves, and this ostensibly includes their greenback. It has been a fascinating time in international currency markets as many rogue states have kicked their de-dollarization efforts into overdrive, thinking that there is nothing the United States can do about it. And in a way, they are absolutely correct. For close to a decade, Russia had taken part in de-dollarization efforts, whether it was mandating the settlement of rubles at seaports or engaging in currency swaps. Moscow's campaign encouraged China to adopt a similar anti-dollar blitzkrieg, such as installing a SWIFT alternative called SIPS or launching a digital yuan to facilitate greater cross-border transactions. But other countries have participated in this war on the dollar too. India is establishing a rupee-ruble trade agreement and creating a central bank linkage to Moscow. Venezuela is reportedly trying to connect to Russia's MIR payment system. Iran and the Kremlin are also reportedly looking to either adopt or manufacture an alternative to SWIFT, or for Tehran to partake in Russia's SFPS, which is also another SWIFT alternative. Of course, the biggest story was reported in early March. Saudi Arabia could begin selling its oil to China in yuan rather than dollars. Riyadh has apparently become increasingly frustrated with the United States administration, so the Saudis would have quite the temerity to ditch the US dollar and embrace the yuan. This is crucial too because the dollar represents 80% of all global energy transactions, and the Saudis have been making a major transition to Asian markets in recent years. Some say that this is the beginning of Bretton Woods 3, with Credit Suisse investment strategist Sultan Pazar writing in a recent report that the globe could be witnessing a commodity-based monetary order. He stated, quote, we are seeing a regime shift unfold in funding markets currently, which is always and will pass, and a sea change in inflation dynamics and forex reserve management practices. But would the global economy either embrace or even withstand commodity-backed currencies? In this type of economy, unlikely. The world has been too reliant on fiat money and expending money supply at will to grow economies and cushion the blows of recessions, depressions, and stagflation. Still, his thesis of another monetary order is partially correct. We are witnessing an incremental reshuffling of international reserve currencies worldwide. Indeed, incremental is the key word to monitor here. The dollar hegemony on the world stage will either diminish over time and will not happen overnight. If you look at the IMF's COFR data, the dollar still accounts for about $7 trillion of global foreign exchange reserves. Dollar still represents an immense share of worldwide transactions, and of course, as we have seen in today's hostile environment, investors typically flee to the good old buck during times of crisis and upheaval. The US dollar index, for example, which gouges the greenback against a basket of currencies, has rallied 3% this year. Over the last 12 months, the index has risen nearly 7%. In the end, after creating more than 1/3 of all US dollars ever created in the nation's history in less than 2 years and counting, and sanctioning any and all enemies for decades, it was only a matter of time before the dollar would eventually receive its comeuppance. As the great Jimmy Durante used to end his radio programs back in the day, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. That's it for me this week. Please read my full Swamponomics column where I discuss Biden's warning of food shortages, surging coffee prices, and the sound doves make when they cry. Thank you.
We're doing it for real, really real. Liberty Nation.
And Jeff Charles, contributor for LibertyNation.com.
I think we're starting to make an impact. Liberty style, fighting for freedom.
Maybe tracking polls poll sponsored by Liberty Nation for
Guess what?
Thursday.
Mentioned by Dan Bongino, Rasmussen, Jordan Peterson, and
I
others.
can do it again if you want me to.
Cited in Mark Levin's American Marxism.
I think we're starting to make a really big impact. Get noticed. We're doing it. Rock on. I'm gone.